Freedom. In fact, my people never had it because their hearts were filled with fear. Fear of the price paid for freedom. Fear of the unpredictability that comes with freedom. Fear of losing freedom after having it. They kneel to those who enslaved them in exchange for protection. They isolate and harm those who resist tyranny and pursue freedom. They accept all injustices in exchange for the privilege of watching the suffering of others. They are pitiable. They are also hateful. My people have never been free. They have been enslaved for so long that they have forgotten that this life is not normal. They know freedom is wonderful, but they don't have the courage. Don't walk in front of me. I may not follow. Don't walk behind me. I may not lead. Walk beside me and be my friend. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Freedom has charms to show. It lives not in the absence, but in the acceptance of responsibilities. I rebel, therefore I exist. Freedom is the power to refuse to be a victim. Freedom is nothing but a chance to be better. Freedom is the consciousness of our responsibilities. Blessed are the hearts that can bend. They shall never be broken. A guilty conscience needs to confess. A work of art is a confession. What is called a reason for living is also an excellent reason for dying. You will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Freedom is the only happiness in a world of constraints. I would rather live my life as if there is a God and die to find out there isn't, than live as if there isn't, and to die to find out that there is. A man devoid of hope, and conscious of being so, has ceased to belong to the future. There is no happiness if the things we believe in are different from the things we do. When the soul suffers too much, it develops a taste for misfortune. The most decisive actions of our life, I mean those that are most likely to decide the whole course of our future, are more often than not unconsidered. A loveless world is a dead world, and always there comes an hour when one is weary of prisons, of one's work, and of devotion to duty, and all one craves for is a loved face, the warmth and wonder of a loving heart. The only real progress lies in learning to be wrong all alone. The welfare of the people in particular has always been the alibi of tyrants. Always go too far, because that's where you'll find the truth. Live to the point of tears. Freedom is the source from which all happiness derives. The degree of civilization in a society can be judged by entering its prisons. Words can only lie. The truth is in their tone. History never truly says goodbye. History says, "See you later." The only possible hope for liberty is from the inside. We have to liberate ourselves. One does not discover the absurd without being tempted to write a manual of happiness. History is not merely an act of remembrance, but an act of responsibility. The greatest freedom is to believe in oneself. In the concentration camp, it was not only freedom that was lost, but also the feeling that one could still choose to be oneself. Man is free, but he is alone. And the price of this freedom is the loss of everything. Freedom is not a gift. It is a responsibility. Survival is a kind of resistance, because survival is the maximum expression of free will. The world does not understand. It does not want to understand. The truth is not beautiful. It is bitter. Fear has a smell, as love does. Hunger is good discipline. In a dictatorship, the words, "I love you," sound like goodbye. A tyrant doesn't have to be a king. He can be anyone who has the power to hurt you. When you live in a dictatorship, you know that everything you do is political. Hatred will never disappear. It will only hide its face for a while. In a dictatorship, freedom is a dirty word. Fear is a word that gives you an ache. The soul in a dictatorship is a prisoner. When you are persecuted for 40 years, you forget that the persecution is not normal. The echo in a dictatorship is a scream. The power of dictators lies in the fear they produce. In a dictatorship, you don't hear other people's footsteps anymore. They're afraid of themselves. Dictatorship is the strange distance between what lives in the heart and what comes out in words. In a dictatorship, hope is a desert. The truth is a dangerous word. People who live in a dictatorship are not normal people. The past is black and white, but the future is always color. A dictatorship is a time of slavery. When you live in a dictatorship, everything is dangerous. The truth in a dictatorship is a ghost. The only thing we didn't lack was fear. When you live in a dictatorship, you don't know how to live normally. The one who has been silent for so long knows that words can't be thrown away. When you can't leave a place, then you live in a prison. Fear is like a thick wall that keeps growing in your head. In a dictatorship, you don't believe in the kindness of other people anymore. Time in a dictatorship is like cold water that doesn't flow. The truth is a valuable thing, but the power of fear makes it unbearable. In a dictatorship, you don't exist anymore. I would like to dedicate this film to the Chinese people who have been suffering and wish them to regain their courage and overcome fear.